is the Vijay Stamp found at Mehroli in Delhi. This pillar is 24 feet high and weighs approximately 7,000 kgs or 7 tons and has been in open air for past 200 years plus Chandragupta's time. And Chandragupta happened to be somewhere near about 1500 years back. So this pillar is what estimate says is standing out there for 2000 years. What is unique about it is this pillar is confirmed made up of iron, but in spite of it being made of an iron, standing in open air, facing the heat, facing the air, facing the rain, no corrosion has yet taken place. And still unique is we are trying to evaluate which all combinations were used. We are still trying to evaluate. We are trying to understand how this metal pillar was constructed and where. They have got no idea about it. Science of medicine and surgery, your second topic. The first one, chemistry for a 4-mark question. And now comes the science of medicine and surgery, another 4-mark question. Medicines to cure the ailment, surgery required in our day-to-day life and especially after the wars. Wars frequently used to take place. And we Indians had developed a certain specific field dedicated to this department, medicines, surgeries. Mention is of certain persons who have done some extraordinary work in this department. We have as Maharshi Charak, underline him, Maharshi Sushrut and Vagbhat. And these are the ones who are considered as pioneers, that is the leaders, the first one to carry out certain specific thing in this area. Maharshi Charak has written a book called as Charak Samhita, in which he has mentioned over 2000 medicinal herbs. Now 2000 itself is a big number, and conclusion has been given. This is a painstaking effort. Now, what exactly I want to tell you is, imagine there is in Charak Samhita mention about 2000 plants which are beneficial. So, do you think so that Maharshi Charak was so lucky that he just picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 2000 and all those plants were proved beneficial? Or did he actually carried out various experiments from the extract of those plants, used it on certain people who were having different ailments, जिनको बीमारियां थी, और फिर conclusion पर पहुंचे कि this plant is beneficial and this plant is not beneficial. Are you understanding the point? He would never have been that much lucky that he picked up 2000 plants and said, yes, these are beneficial. And beneficial in this particular field. So he must have carried out that extensive research, taking out the plants, taking out the extract, using on the patients, getting the reports written, what sort of effect was seen of those plants, was it good, what is bad, how that bad can be removed, how the good can be improved. All those activities must have been carried out by this personality. And then he came to conclusion that these are those plus points of these plants. Are you understanding how extensive research was carried out? Maharshi Sushrut has mentioned instrument used in surgery. Now, what is so special about these? The instruments were so sharp that they would split a hair vertically. Horizontally, we can get it done. You go to any spa, you go to any barber shop, and you can have it cut. So horizontally, it doesn't really matter. Splitting the hair vertically, so imagine how thin the hair is, and how sharp that instrument would have been, which would cut a hair vertically down. And perhaps it was used for incision, cuts on the body when you're doing operation. Perhaps might have been used. Person Vagbhat has written a book which is known as Vagbhat Samhita. Underline it. Also important, study of Charak Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Vagbhat Samhita is very useful even today. So all those who are learning the art of medicine, and that too in Ayurveda exclusively, they still refer to these books for their studies. Hindu herbal science of ancient time is enriched with huge collection of minerals and medicines. This has presented a detailed and complicated process of making medicines. Here, very unique thing. They used to carry out operations. Nowadays, we have got a provision of having some special units attached which helps in prevention of blood loss. We need to have a particular amount of blood being circulated within the body in case we want to have the patient survive. In case excess blood loss is going to take place, the patient is going to die. So in that time, they had discovered and invented certain new techniques in which using the cups, the half shells of coconuts basically, to start or stop the circulation of blood in that specific area in which the operation was going to get carried out. So unique thing. Still it is being practiced in a lot of areas. They could skillfully operate upon abdomen. They can open up the abdomen. They can do the stitching. They can do the operations of kidney, one of the most complicated structure of the body. They can do the operation of cataract, that is motia, what we call it in Hindi, eyes. Hernia, stone, piles, bladders. They could also join the broken bones. Still we have got that few people in and around our vicinity whom we call that hardware. Twist and turns and put the bones back, leave it for some time, and it is working very fabulously. So that was done in expertise forms. Pierced into the body, extraction was taken. Wars used to take place, and wars were fought with the swords and arrows, bow and arrows, and those spears. So those things might get stuck up in the body. A painful death, you have to remove it, get it cleaned up, stitched. All those activities were carried out by these practicing medical practitioners who were present out there. They could skillfully recognize symptom and diagnose the disease. They were dietitians for post-recovery. Not only these activities were carried out, they also used to recommend what you're supposed to eat and not to eat once you are on the path of recovery. You're taking this medicine, you're not supposed to eat this. Even today, we have got those type of doctors available in Ayurveda or Unani medicines who tell you this is supposed to be eaten and this is not supposed to be eaten. You have got this particular problem, hence you should avoid tomatoes. You should avoid brinjal. You should not eat chilies. You should not eat this. You should not. This is what a dietitian's work being carried out by a doctor, and that too for the good recovery. They had knowledge of plastic surgery. And you must be wondering, they never had something called as plastic at that time. So how could they do plastic surgery? It's all about reconstruction of the body. Wars, very common, naak cut gayi. They have got the nose cut off. Yes, it used to happen. The hand chopped off. The fingers chopped off. The ear pinna chopped off. It could have happened when the wars were taking place. The fights were taking place. And that reconstruction of the whole thing, attaching it back, continuing with the blood supply, that is plastic surgery. So when we talk about this particular aspect, we have got this plastic surgery of joining the things which were chopped off from the body to be put back on the body and make it functional also. They showed keen interest in teaching students the method of surgery. And how was it done? They used to work upon the dead bodies so that the new children can learn about how the medicine is going to get practiced. And there certain methods have been used or talked about is using wax statues. They used to have the whole full body structure made up of wax, and they used to make the students learn on that particular body. They could conduct a risky operation during delivery. So good gynecologist, expert gynecologist as well as pediatricians, the doctor for the small kids. Their ailments were getting tackled easily. This is all about humans. Humans at that time were not able to survive without animals. See, nobody used to have that BMWs and Jaguars for their disposal. They used to travel from one place to another, and only things they could have access perhaps was those animals. You know, cows, ox, donkeys, horses, buffaloes, elephants. So even they needed to be taken care of. As nowadays we have got those mechanics of the specific companies taking care of the vehicles. Even that time, that vehicle which was available, natural vehicle, that has to be taken care of. And here is we're talking about veterinary science, the science about the animals. So veterinary science also developed. These people also wrote books on diseases related to horses, that is Ashwa, and elephants, very commonly used at that time, that is Hasti. Hasti Ayurved, Shailhotra, and Ashwa Shastra, these are the books which were written at that time and used for getting the veterinary backup for the animals. Scholars like Vagbhat made a valuable contribution through his work. Underlined is Ashtang Hriday in the field of diagnosis. So what we had completed today is the metallurgy, the chemistry and the medicinal science which was being practiced at that time by our ancient civilization, whom we consider not to be very good, well versed with science and technology, but we have proven to the world that certain things did exist with the help of those remains of the books. ये books बची रह गई तो हम बता सकते हैं. See, these books were written 2000 years back. This book was written 1500 years back. This book was written 3000 years back. And here there is a mention about how science and technology was being used by our ancestors. Next class we will continue with mathematics and try to wind up the chapter.